Hi, I'm Professor James Smith, and welcome to another segment on evidence. Today we're going to talk about character evidence. Character evidence is governed by Federal Rules of Evidence 404 and 405. What's the general rule concerning character evidence? The general rule is that we don't allow a party to introduce evidence that someone has a particular character trait and as a result acted in accordance with that particular character trait on a particular occasion. General rule. Our concern is that people will be too swayed by character evidence, and after having heard evidence of someone's character, particularly evidence of their bad character, they may be persuaded to decide cases based upon that character rather than facts. Remember, one of the overriding goals of the Federal Rules of Evidence is that we want cases to be decided on the facts and not be decided on passion or prejudice or bias. And as we know, when people hear about someone's character, they tend to make snap judgments. So let's talk about the rule specifically. Federal Rule of Evidence 404A bars, as a general rule, the introduction of character evidence, and it prevents parties from being able to make an argument that someone has a particular character trait and thus acted in accordance with that particular character trait on a particular occasion. What we're trying to do is avoid the idea of once a thief, always a thief, or once a violent person, always a violent person. So that's the general rule. But of course, there are exceptions. In criminal cases, the defendant can open the door to the introduction of character evidence by introducing evidence of a pertinent character trait to rebut a particular charge. So for example, if Jack is charged with robbery, which is considered to be a violent crime, he can introduce evidence of his character for peacefulness in order to rebut the charge. So in criminal cases, the defendant can open the door by introducing evidence of a pertinent character trait. Now, if the defendant does that, then what he does is he gives the prosecution then the opportunity to rebut that character trait. Under Rule 404, if the defendant takes advantage of what we call the mercy rule and introduces evidence of his own character, then the prosecution can introduce evidence to rebut that particular character trait. So, just to summarize what we've dealt with regard to character evidence right now, inadmissible as a general rule. In a criminal case, the defendant can offer evidence of a pertinent character trait. If he does so, then the prosecution can offer evidence to rebut that character trait. In the next segment, we're going to talk about more particular rules with regard to how the parties can introduce character evidence when it's been introduced by the other side, and then we're going to talk about the methods for proving character.